Well, Kevin, you've played ball years ago. You coached it for 18 years. Now you're an administrator. In this state, how do you size up the athletic scene? We've come to a point of overlapping seasons, playing a lot of games. I mean, the quality of the sports on the arena surface may be pretty good, but are there any concerns that you have? What can you say to parents? Should kids try to play 2 or 3 sports? Set the scene for me.
Yeah. Well, first of all, I'm a big multi-sport advocate. I think kids have one opportunity to play sports when they get into adulthood. One of the things that I always hate to hear the most is, I wished I would have. And so many times you had a conversation with a young man that's graduated a few years before and wished he would have done more than one sport, or wished he would have tried or attempted to. Of course, there's a lot of situations going on within our state. The main thing is the health concern. I think you see that with concussions, the rules on concussions this year. I think you see that also with the involvement of Dr. Andrews in the baseball throwing programs and things like that. So I think the overall health of the sport is something that's a big concern, as well as sportsmanship.
Can we do something about seasons overlapping so kids wouldn't get so far behind in their next sport?
Well, I think you got a problem there of, just simple calendar. Many of the administration, state officials and everything else don't want activities to occur in the summer. It's harder to monitor, and so therefore I think you have a problem with basically being a calendar issue that's being forced into a lot of that overlapping situation.
But the kids are here in June with those exhibition games. Are the exhibition games a good thing, or do you think perhaps AHSAA may want to put some limits on those exhibitions?
I know in the past year there's a lot of discussion about putting limitations even more so. Right now, currently, you can have 7 days of competition. There was a lot of rumors last year going around about possibly pushing that back to 4 days of competition, because we're all seeing the wears and effects of a long summer. And I'm talking about both coaches, officials, as well as players.
Is there concern about too many games? We know Hartsville plays a lot of baseball games. Bob Jones played 81 in volleyball a while back. Is there concern about too many games, too much time spent on sports compared to the rest of a kid's life?
Well, there is a concern about how much time a kid has put into sports and athletics. Of course, though, I'm also an advocate of keeping kids active. I don't care if it's a youth group, whatever it may be, a club or service organization. I truly think the youth of America these days need to be a structured and disciplined environment. And I think that's what you're seeing is that the school and the sports offer that, and always has, and hopefully always will. And I think that's what you're seeing now too is a lot of the situations are occurring because we're trying to provide a disciplined and structured environment for the youngest.
Well, if Dr. Andrews talks about if a kid plays more than one sport, he's better off physically, or she's better off physically than if they play only one 360 days out of the year. Well, if that's true, I mean, should the state respond? Should they change something to be more in line with Dr. Andrews' thinking?
There's no doubt when Dr. Andrews speaks, several people listen, and I think you're seeing it from kids and from basically the coaches and everybody else. We want our kids to be successful, and we understand that looking at the training apparatuses that we have today, it's not more or less sports specific, but you're trying to train the best athlete, become the most athletic, explosive person you can find. So I don't think you see as much training for specific sports these days as you do just trying to develop overall athleticism.
Is there too much concern about trying to get a kid a scholarship? Is that what's driving all this, or is too much emphasis, or what's causing more games, more days, maybe more than it used to be?
There's no doubt. There's a lot of greed into college athletics and trying to get to that elusive dollar or scholarship that you're trying to get there. One of the things that I'm most proud about when I was coaching was advising parents that the easiest dollar to get on the scholarship level is an academic scholarship. And I think so many of them, while yes, unfortunately a lot of the sports and everything else glorify the scholar athlete, I think we should put the athlete, is the second. And I think many times we put it in is the first and the priority of things instead of the scholar.